Okay, guys, you have seen my it's a Harbor Freight bandsaw that I put on rollers. Them are flat proof tires, so I can move it around. I did something here the other day. Well, basically, I finished it today, and I didn't think I needed to make a video on it. But after I got it going, I thought, well, I should have shown the process. But anyhow, you can see a lot of sawdust all over that thing. I've actually busted a blade here recently. But the thing I want to show you guys is that you can see I got a log over there, and I've been trying to figure out a way to. I made a normally when you cut on these, you're coming in on this side, and you only have a certain amount of height that you could cut with right there. Well, I was thinking, well, what about if you get on this side, and like say you're cutting slabs or something like that, you can make it as tall as you want. So what I did was make a shelf. Now I know it looks like crap, but I'm using all scrap metal on that. Now there's a little spot that sticks out right here on these the Harbor Freight bandsaw. Little knob that sticks out, and I took a 3-inch angle iron piece. It's probably 3/16 thick. It's pretty good thickness, and it's stout. It doesn't bend or move or anything like that. And so I drilled holes, 3 on bottom and 2 on top, into this little area. This is a little channel that this blade will go down into, and I took this piece of metal, which is about 16 gauge, I believe. It's off the bottom of a yard cart. I had a yard cart from a previous video, if you've seen, that I lowered, and I removed the wheel system of it because I moved the wheel back and down, or up, lowering it and making it more stable. I bent this in my vise, and then I just welded some leftover material from this piece onto it, and then I took this it's perforated angle iron, and I just spot welded all over because I wanted the strength so it could hold stuff. And I threw this in right at the edge because I knew that I wanted to make it as stout as possible, because I didn't know if I was going to have to need to put a bracket underneath it to hold it. And I was surprised on how sturdy that thing is now. And I've seen some other things that you guys can do. You could take, this has a swing right here. Bolts on like that, and it can move around so you can cut angles and stuff like that. You could take this off and actually put a not an anvil, a vise right here, and drill and tap it into this, and then use this as a chop saw. This thing is actually pretty doggone versatile. I was really surprised on the shelf how well it turned out. But what I've been doing is, you see that there. Let me show you the result. I was able to, that was my first cut after I did a cleanup on it, and there's a crack right there, and it stayed pretty level. One of my gripes in doing repeatability is that these come out on an angle, and you can see some oil residue got in on that. I don't like that because that's not going to come out. But when you cut through it, you can see there's still some left over. Like this one, I took a couple into the house because they look so good, and I haven't sanded or nothing on it. And this is a slow cut because I have a metal blade on there. And what I'm doing is, these are great pot holders. You put them on the table, put hot food, hot plate on that. And I want to try something else too. One thing I'd like to do is go to Harbor Freight and get a wood cutting blade that would cut better. I mean, it takes me 10 minutes to go through that log, and if I force this thing, it jams up because there's not enough room in between here to get rid of this sawdust, and that causes problems. But if I had the wood blade, it'd have more room in between there. Let me show you a few more things. Part of this, I get this out of the way, and this thing can come all the way down. See how it can come all the way down? And you can see how that chops right there. I got junk in the way right here. But see how it can come all the way down below the level of that. I had to work on that, getting all that. But I'm using, these are 7/16, so 1/4 20 bolts right here and here to hold that together, so I could basically unbolt this piece if I need to. And I think I'll leave that other one on. I bolted it on also. But really surprised on that. So that adds the versatility of that. So now I'm going to try to start cutting more of that to make more of these. Y'all seen my coaster video, and so this is something else that went with that. So these two angle pieces add strength to that, and also it keeps that piece right there in place. Now I'm going to have to think of some sort of strap or something, a big clamp, to, when this thing, when it's heavy, you can cut it and it's no problem. It ain't going to move around. But the more I cut off of it, the lighter it gets, the harder it gets to handle. And so that's my next thing on that, is to figure out a way to strap that down or put a big clamp or something like that right there. This has a couple of gears in this gearbox, and normally you never have to go through it. But the other day ago when I was working on this thing, I went ahead and popped it open, and it looked like it had leaked about half of it out. So I put some more gear oil in here and then retightened all this. You need to check on that every now and then. I don't have an air compressor here in the shop where I'd blow all this crap out of it. The fine teeth on this is what makes that fine. You can see, looking on the ground there, how much sawdust there is. But that's an idea if you want to make something or make this more useful. Like I say, I got my marks right there. But this, comes up through here. This thing right here don't give you a lot of room. And that's where I come up with that idea. And so I'm going to cut a few more of them things. And it's raining outside, so I can't do nothing outside. You can hear it. You can hear it raining. But anyhow, this is a good idea for you guys that like to make neat stuff and all. So anyhow, thought I'd let you guys know about this. Like I said, all I was doing, also, a thing I forgot to tell you about is that This is all the way down and this is all the way up. And I had to situate that thing. You see how it fits just barely. I had to situate that way it would. And that's a big part. If you're going to build one of these, you got to build it to where it makes clearance. So anyhow, just letting you guys, showing you what I got and what's going on. Neat project there. So hang in there and we'll see you guys on the next video. Okay, I'm trying out something. See the clamps on either side? Seems to be pretty sturdy. Now you can see the threads. See how they get kind of clogged up. I'm not putting no weight on it, and this adjustment is out about as far as it can go, so it's using the weight of this to do the cutting. And it takes about 10 minutes to go through that. But you see, barely got clearance there, and this will scoot around and go right down beside this right here. And this piece turns it off when it goes all the way down. So I had a mark right there. That's about where I want them. Like 1 3/8. Now you can see this thing is slowly moving down, and it's working on its own. But the problem is that's a metal blade, and it's real thin. The teeth don't have that much room, and so it clogs up easily. You see all that stuff coming out? If I do that every now and then, it kind of gets some of the sawdust out. But like I said, maybe in the next day or so, when I can get over to Harbor Freight, I'll see about a wood cutting blade. But that's how this is doing that. And you can see that piece has got room right here. Otherwise, I wouldn't be able to cut that. So I had to build that shelf to be able to do this. And so that's how this is working out right now. Anyhow, I don't want to bore you guys with letting paint dry or watching sawdust fall. So I'll catch you guys on the next video. Let me show you guys another way of clamping these down. I got to where these were slipping off, so I took a piece of angle iron and keeping it under that piece. So far it's working. So got to come up with them creative ideas to keep this on, keep this held down tightly. Yeah, that twisted. I'm gonna have to figure out a way to get that thing to slide over, because that's gonna hit. I didn't see that earlier. It'll get down to a point and it'll stop. I wanted to show you these. That slow cut is really pretty nice. I mean, the sides, I'm going to use that wire wheel buffer over there, knock some of that grunge off. But them are looking pretty good. I'll shake that stuff out. Okay, I'm going to have to work on it, so I'm going to have to put this camera down. Catch you on the next one.